Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm your host, Bobby King, bringing you the latest and most crucial updates on the Iraqi dinar. Today is no ordinary day, it's a big one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share to support the channel. Your support means the world and keeps us going strong. Let's dive into today's explosive developments. Today may be just another day on the calendar for the world, but for Iraq, it could mark a turning point, one laced with tension, controversy, and cautious hope. The headlines are loaded. The U.S. Federal Reserve's new policy signals, a landmark court battle in Baghdad's Federal Supreme Court involving Iraq's finance minister and Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and pivotal comments from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on Iraq's fragile dinar exchange rate. Behind these headlines lies a much deeper story, one of a country wrestling with its identity, its economy, and its future. A nation gripped by uncertainty. For the Iraqi people, currency isn't just paper, it's trust. Over the past decade, that trust has been shaken. The dinar has seen multiple devaluations, driven by political instability, plummeting oil revenues, and systemic corruption. The exchange rate, which once hovered at 1,190 Iraqi dinars to the dollar, fell drastically in 2020 to about 1,460, and still struggles to find a stable floor. That's why the IMF's recent commentary struck such a nerve. While acknowledging Iraq's oil-based fiscal recovery, the fund warned of structural vulnerabilities and projected an asterisk average exchange rate, not a strengthening one. It was a subtle but telling message. The dinar isn't out of the woods, and neither is the Iraqi economy. But Iraqis already knew that. The courtroom drama. Justice or just politics? Asterisk. Today's session in the Federal Supreme Court isn't just about two men in suits. It's about the fundamental direction of governance in Iraq. Finance Minister Taif Sami, known for her technocratic expertise and reformist tilt, stands accused of procedural breaches and policy overreach. On the other side of this complex legal battle is Prime Minister al-Sudani, a figure many see as walking a tightrope between reform and political preservation. The case is rooted in disagreements over budget execution and transparency, but what's really at stake is control, over the purse strings, over economic strategy, and possibly over Iraq's future orientation, reformist or populist. Sources close to the court say today's ruling, or even its postponement, could send shockwaves through Iraq's political class. Either way, it's a moment of reckoning. The Fed's shadow over Baghdad complicating matters further is the U.S. Federal Reserve's expected move today. Likely a decision to maintain interest rates, but accompanied by statements that could strengthen the dollar globally. A stronger dollar means more pressure on the Iraqi dinar, which is already struggling under black market speculation and currency smuggling, issues the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has failed to fully contain. A tighter U.S. monetary stance could drain dollar liquidity from Iraq's formal banking channels, especially as compliance with SWIFT standards and anti-money laundering protocols continue to strain Iraqi banks. The dollar, ironically, still dominates Iraqi trade and savings, making Fed policy feel like a hand reaching across oceans into Iraqi wallets. Between shock and hope, and yet, not all is gloom. Hidden beneath the crises is a spark, maybe even a quiet revolution. Iraq's young population is restless, but also energetic. Tech startups are blooming in Baghdad and Erbil. Oil revenues, while volatile, have padded the treasury with enough buffer to entertain structural reforms. The finance ministry, for all the political fire it draws, has pushed for digitization, subsidy rationalization, and tax reform. The central bank has floated the idea of a *managed float exchange system in the long term, a bold idea if implemented with transparency. Even the IMF, in its cautious language, noted Iraq's progress on non-oil revenues and potential fiscal consolidation. The court case, too, might set a precedent for stronger institutional checks, regardless of who wins. If Iraqis can begin to believe that their legal system can hold power to account, that alone could ignite a long-awaited rebirth of civic trust. What comes next? Much of what unfolds today won't be immediately felt on the streets of Basra or Mosul. But the signals will ripple. If the court strikes down key elements of the finance ministry's plan, expect pushback from reformers, but also a possible hardening of economic populism. If al-Sudani's government emerges weakened, it could trigger early political reshuffling. And if the Fed's decision strengthens the dollar, the CBI will have little choice but to continue draining reserves to stabilize the dinar, a risky long-term game. But if today brings clarity, even just a little, it could be the first stone laid in a more stable foundation. Final thoughts. From the ashes, maybe a spark. Iraq is no stranger to crisis. Wars, sanctions, insurgency, they've defined a generation. But what makes today so unique is that it's not about bombs or battles. It's about institutions. About law. About policy. About currency. And that is a kind of progress. Shock and hope are not opposites. They are partners in change. Today may very well shock the system. But with the right leadership and public resilience, it may also bring Iraq one step closer to the country its people deserve, stable, sovereign, and strong. Whatever happens, Iraqis are watching. And the world should be too. In the end, I want to ask all my friends watching to stay positive and patient, because patience truly is the key to success. Please subscribe to my channel and show your support. Wishing you all a wonderful day.